Back at it again. One of the things I wanted to talk about in this video is facing adversity and disappointment. You know, part of the mental game to being an athlete, to everything, but as it relates to what we do, mainly being powerlifting, strongman, Olympic weightlifting, wrestling. You know, that seems to be the four sports that are done mainly in my gym. This weekend, let me go back. Last weekend, not this past weekend, the weekend before, we had four lifters lifting the USA Powerlifting Tennessee State, and I'm not sure the correct name, but it was like surrounding states kind of powerlifting meet. And we had two first meet lifters. I want to say Elliott's was his second, and his dad's got some experience. He's lifted at two national meets. And so you saw kind of a wide sweep of results, one of them being that John bombed. And I'm going to get back to that. This past weekend, I got up at about 1:30 Saturday morning to watch Jody compete at Bench Worlds, where she went 2 for 3 and missed her third, and I think overall placed 5th. And did so as a master, which is a huge achievement. And then yesterday, Ahmed lifted at Equipped Nationals in Spokane and had a 3 for 3 day on the squatting 410 kilos, 903.8 is, I believe, the poundage. And then went 0 for 3 in the bench and bombed. And so what I'm wanting to talk about is a couple of situations there, 3 situations, where you don't quite achieve your goals or you bomb, and how do we deal with that? Or you feel like something got taken away from you, you know, the judge's call, whatever that may be. And the first thing I'm going to tell you, in every facet of your life, you have to choose how something is going to affect you. Now, sometimes the immediate situation is, you know, when you see something super sad, you're sad, or something that happens and it makes you mad, or, you know, elation of something, whatever the case may be. But you ultimately have to make a choice once the dust settles a little bit. How is this going to affect me? You know, am I going to get too high? Am I going to get too low? Is this going to make me bitter? You know, and that's kind of the thing that I want to address. Sometimes you can be absolutely prepared and things just don't go your way. I don't have an answer as for why. There's generally, if you look at it, you know, analytically, and you kind of remove the emotional aspect of it, which I promise you is not easy. It's very difficult for me. You'll learn quite a bit when you can kind of take that emotion out of it. So with John, he made a mistake with how he cut weight, with how he water cut, and how he replenished. And the result was he a severe loss of strength, to the point that he was kind of punch drunk. He may not admit that and may not like that, but it's true. And then was cramping so bad by the time he got to deadlift that he just couldn't finish. You know, it became probably an issue of becoming injured. With Ahmed, it's Ramadan, and you know, so there's some fasting that goes on, which is tough enough for people that are used to cutting weight. You know, Mito's his nickname is a 120 plus, a super heavyweight, and so cutting for us, you know, that's like not eating. I'm being funny, you know. You're only eating 6 slices of the pizza instead of 8. So you kind of get the drift there. So when you're fasting and that sort of thing, it's just so hard on you. And he was already feeling dizzy during his warm-ups, and that's, you know, that's the fasting. And, you know, bless his heart, got through it, hit the 903. I knew he was good for a great squat because he's had such a good training cycle. And we've been able to spend more time with him in gear and stuff like that. So I was very confident. his opening bench was 287.5, and Monday night, a week ago today, he destroyed that as an opener. So we were supremely confident because he's hit 300 in the gym several times. And I don't know exactly what happened. Holly was running the phone where I could see it live, and she said he just didn't look like himself as he got done warming up for bench, and she was worried that he was hurt. And based on how his opening attempt looked, it indicated that maybe that were the issue. The short version, before it gets too long-winded, is that he just couldn't make the lift, and he felt so bad and still dizzy, he decided not to deadlift. And then last, with Elliot, his last squat I thought was close. I argued it as being good, but at the end of the day, like I've said in a previous video, he got 3 reds, so clearly they saw something that was wrong, and he didn't get the lift. And then his third deadlift, he gets to the top, and it pops out of his hands. And so what all 3 lifters there have in common, and what Jody has in common, is how are these things going to affect you? I mean, Jody wants to go and win. She wants to be all world, and she wants to win, and she lives unrealistically. See, I'm the realistic guy, but that's my job. It is her job to shoot for the moon. My job to guide her to go as high as she can. So how is 5th place going to sit with her? I don't think it's a negative thing, but I can promise you, given the time that I've spent with Jody, this lit a fire under her. I can assure you it did. And so that's where it comes into play. How are we going to let this, affect us? With John and Ahmed, bombing is never fun. It's not a good thing. It can be demoralizing and defeating. And so you got to make a choice. Is this going to stop me from my pursuit, of what I want to do? And then with Elliot, you got to keep in mind, Elliot's 13 years old. Hey, I felt like that squat was good. Hey, I felt like, the bar was a little slick, and that cost me my last deadlift. And so you got to make some choices on how those things are going to affect you. And so what I suggest is you always have a plan, and the people that are really successful make the adjustment. And when you face that kind of adversity, learn from it. If you have videos, watch it. Watch everything. And really assess, what went right, what went wrong, and if you have a coach, work with them on what you need to do to make it right and to make it better. And simply stay positive. Now that sounds like, oh, you're making it sound so easy. No, I said it was simple. I didn't say it was easy. The thing is if you give up, or if you let it affect you negatively, then you kind of guarantee the results. When you're positive and you walk away from it going, I didn't do what I wanted to do, but I'm going to hunker down and I'm going to learn. Success is generally built on a lot of failure, or what you may deem failure, or not quite achieving your goals. And so that's why every time you do a competition or you test, regardless of the results, you assess. When Jennifer won Worlds and was the best lifter, it was a career year. Your best lifter at Women's Pro-Am, your best lifter at Nationals, your best lifter at Worlds. You can't top that. But what did we do? We looked at video, we talked. We do this after every meet. How can we be better collectively? Not only Jennifer as a lifter, and not only me as a coach, but how the two of us work and how we can remain and improve our being cohesive. And so it's a positive. It's all a positive. Every time you get up from the platform and you're alive and breathing, it's a good thing. And the thing I would tell you is every time you can do a contest, even if it's a career moment, and you still can find several things to work on, That is called a blessing. Because I would hate to have gone to Worlds with Jennifer or with Melissa when she got third at Nationals and go, that's it. That's the best you can ever hope for. There is no room for you to improve. There is always room to improve, and that's the joy. For me, now that I'm at my age at 52, and I'm clearly not as strong, I miss the pursuit of the numbers going up all the time. You know, if I do this work, I have a shot at this. Now, I still pursue it. I still pursue certain numbers, but it's not the same. And so, either way, I'm always looking at how can I improve? How can I be better? How can I be a better athlete? How can I be a better coach? You know, and sometimes you miss the mark. You know, there's been times I've made mistakes and it cost a lifter, you know, and so I hate that. You know, like last night, there was nothing I could do for Ahmed, but man, my heart hurt for him. But I was like, brother, we're going to get back in the gym, you know, replenish once Ramadan is done, you know, and I admire him for sticking to his guns, you know, and what he believes and what, you know, he is compelled to do. And we're going to train and we're going to get better. And that's the bottom line. We get up every day. Every time you open your eyes, you have an opportunity to make the most of the day. And you have choices to make. And you have choices on how that adversity, is it going to be a negative or is it going to be a building block to make you better? So choose wisely. Have a good day.